All right. Okay, I have two projects that we're going to do to sort of learn the wet on dry technique and the wet on wet paint application. So this is the one that we're going to do for the wet on dry application, and this is just some wonderful wet on wet watercolor play we're going to do. But before I think we even start those, we need to do some watercolor washes, and there's, I think, a little bit more that I'll be able to explain as we work through this. I know I said earlier one of the supplies that you needed was low-tack tape, and I didn't explain what that was. Low-tack tape is masking tape or washi tape. Like, I have tons of, isn't it pretty? I have tons of just, really pretty washi tape. So what we're going to do now, we're going to do a flat wash, and we're going to tape off our paper because I think that we will use the final part of this, the final project, or the after this dries. I don't know what I'm trying to say, but after this dries, I'll cut it up and use it as, a gift tag or something like that. I used to really not like to use my washi tape to tape this stuff down, but I have so much of it. And did you know washi tape goes bad? Washi tape does not last forever. And I was sad to hear that, and very sad when some of my washi tape quit adhering to things, but washi tape will not last forever. All right, I'm going to section this. I'm going to section this off in like a flat wash, and then we'll do a graduated flat wash. So we'll just kind of do it like this to help keep those two things separate. You know what? I'm not going to use them as tags. I'm going to separate them like this, and we'll go ahead and do some flat washes and then maybe some wet into wet. So there, that's what we're going to do. All right, I've already prepared my color over here, and it doesn't matter what color you use. Just go ahead and get your puddles of color ready, because you need to move fairly quick with these. You need to move fairly quick when you're applying this paint. So here I'm going to do a flat wash, and a flat wash is nothing more than just a wash of color, and you're going to try and get it as even as you can. Watercolor has this, natural thing it wants to do, where it wants to create texture, and depending on the color that you use, you may get a flat wash that is just a straight, fairly even wash of color, or you may get one that breaks up into, different textures or granulation. But here, we're going to load our brush up, and all you're going to do, okay, there's that first layer, okay? Try not to disturb it too much, but travel down that square, okay? See that bead of water? Okay, you can keep pushing it down and moving it. When you need more paint, get more paint, okay? Push it down and move it. Push it down and move it, okay? So, like I said, this is going to have some texture in it. It's not going to be super perfect. It'll have some texture in it. I can already see where it's getting some. But, I mean, that's, like I said, that's the nature of watercolor. And this is not as easy as it looks, okay? I'm using a bigger brush that holds a fair amount of water. You could do it with this. It's just that I'm trying to finish these videos in a reasonable amount of time, and this one takes longer, okay? This is a size 12. This is also a squirrel hair brush. This is a natural hair. These are synthetic. So, all right. Now, I'm going to try a graduated wash. And with a graduated wash, I'm going to take the same color, all right, and I'm going to put it up at the top. Let's see, I really want that concentrated. I really want to put a concentrated amount up there. All right, and then I'm going to dip my brush in the water. I'm going to pull that bead down, and I'm going to start moving, just like I did with the flat wash. But in a graduated wash, you want your color to start getting lighter as you travel down your square or your paper or whatever you're doing, or whatever you're painting on, okay? So you see where it's darker up here and it gradually gets lighter as you travel down. These are smaller areas, so it's a little bit, maybe a little bit harder to see, but I think that you can get the general idea. And this really just takes practice. All right, so let's do a flat wash where we bring two colors together. We're gonna go back to my blue. All right, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna do my blue on this end, okay? All right, there's my blue. And then I'm gonna go into my pink, and I'm gonna start my pink down here. And I'm just gonna kind of bring them together. Ooh. All right, see how they, all right, that's just I've got a bunch of water right there. I'm gonna use my brush. I'm gonna dry my brush off and use it like the tool that it is. It's not just a paint, you know, to apply paint. You can use it to pick paint up. But that is it. That's a, you call that a variegated wash, okay, where you're combining two colors together. Let me see if I can get, let's try green. Let's do two greens, all right? All right, we can do it this way, okay? And you know how I went in from the side here? Maybe I want to take a darker green, and I can just start right here. I don't have to come in from the other side of the paper, okay? Kind of mix those. All right. So I know it looks pretty simple, but I think you'd be surprised. It's not as simple as it takes some practice. So, you know, just spend some time. Again, I can't emphasize enough that you really just need to spend some time doing these very simple exercises. It's they're fun, honestly. But just create. All right, just create some squares like this. You could even put make a whole bunch of little, I think this is probably 4x4 and a 2x2 square. You could cut up a whole bunch of paper like this and just keep your practice on these and the different techniques that you learn. Just keep them all together so you can have them to refer back to. Okay, so this is of course not dry, but here's what the washi tape does. See if it worked. See, all the washi tape does is it keeps your sections separate, just like that. And you could actually just I like to take a Sharpie and create different patterns. Sharpie or a white gel pen. White gel pen's always fun to work on the top of these. Oops. All right, did you see that? I'm sitting here looking at my clock, knowing that I have 30 seconds before my 10-minute mark, and I didn't move slowly, and I ripped the paper. You have to move super slow, okay? It ripped. That's where I tore the paper to create these deckled edges. All right, so you need to move really slow. That's a good example of what not to do. Don't get in a hurry with watercolor. You cannot. Okay, so There we go. See, went a lot slower with that one, and I had better results. But there's my buzzer. I did it. Okay, so but there you go. All right, so that is flat wash, graduated wash, and variegated washes. All right, and you see they're already starting to form those wonderful, just natural textures that watercolor, that we love watercolor for. This one's very granulating here. I made this with a color that I knew granulated, ultramarine blue. So there you go. That is our lesson on washes.